Greetings. It's a beautiful day where I am. I won't tell you where I am. If my enemies, and you who listen to this know I have many enemies, and they're not always humanoid. Some are humanoid, but not always human. I wrote a poem the other day. It's a true poem about someone I met that learnt to like me. Let's just turn those notifications off if I can. Don't want to completely disturb me. Oh, never mind. Not too many accidents today. So this is the recruitment of Isal. Oh, a spy. A white rabbit of good charm. And yet, oh, poor Philip. Disturbed, a fan of Stephen the big bird. Yet used, abused, and he knew it not. Oh, but sweet child, encourage you, I beg thee now, that I and you fight valiant against Danielicia the duck. That has been garnered from the veil of William. This is a very holy day. It is the culmination of the Great Lent. A day in which many throughout our planet, and indeed many other planetary systems, celebrate the coming again of a man reputed to have died. This is the 9th chapter of a historical prophetic book in the Jewish holy writings. In the first year of the reign of Darius, son of Ahasuerus, a Mede by birth, who was appointed ruler over the kingdom of the Chaldeans, I, Daniel, was reading the scriptures and reflecting on the 70 years which, according to the word of the Lord to the prophet Jeremiah, were to pass while Jerusalem lay in ruins. Then I turned to the Lord God in earnest prayer and supplication, with fasting and with sackcloth and ashes. I prayed and made this confession to Elohim, my God. Lord, great and terrible God, keeping covenant and faith with those who love you and observe your commandments, we have sinned. Doing what was wrong and wicked, we have rebelled and rejected your commandments and your decrees. We have turned a deaf ear to your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name to our kings and princes, to our forefathers, and to all the people of the land. Lord, the right is on your side. The shame, now as ever, belongs to us, the people of Judah and the citizens of Jerusalem, and to all the Israelites near and far in every land to which you have banished them for their disloyal behavior towards you. Lord, the shame falls on us, on our kings, our princes, and our forefathers. We have sinned against you. Compassion and forgiveness belong to the Lord our God, because we have rebelled against him. We have not obeyed the Lord our God, in that we have not conformed to the laws which he laid down for our guidance through his servants the prophets. All Israel has broken your law and refused to obey your command, so that the oath and curses recorded in the law of Moses the servant of God, have rained down upon us. For we have sinned against God. He has made good the warning he gave about us and our rulers, by bringing on us and on Jerusalem a disaster greater than has ever happened in all the world. And this whole disaster which has come upon us was foretold in the law of Moses. Yet we have done nothing to appease the Lord our God. We have neither repented of our wrongful deeds, nor remembered that you are true to your word. The Lord has kept strict watch, and has now brought the disaster upon us. In all that he has done, the Lord our God has been just, yet we have not obeyed him. Now, this message, of course, is not to those of the Christian, nor even the Jewish faith. This is to you, my friends, the Astarte alphas. I know, despite our best efforts, those of more respectable sorts, shall we put, still think we're freaks and misbehave far more than we do. Well, the judgments they pass shall fall on them, so we can rest as we do. And once this terrible seclusion system of this brutal prison state has passed, we may indeed once more fellowship in our secret areas of nighttime relaxation and rest upon the planetary systems. This is a chapter called Tiron. I begin. Later, we would call in the days of blindness. That was a time when we saw nothing and heard nothing. We were as alone as we had been before the Emperor had delivered us, sundered us from our grand imperium, and cast adrift on the face of the abyss. It was a time of terror. All laws were suspended, even those of time and space. We discovered later that all worlds had experienced the same horrific isolation, but the duration varied wildly. Some reported mere days of blindness, others months. For all I know, there may be many systems still in that grip of nothingness. It was caused by the warp, of course, staining into the void like blood in water. Everything it touched became mad, and the old boundaries flexed and broke around it. We discovered then how prescient the warnings of the old seers had been, as our many sins finally caught up with us. On terror at the source of it. The blindness lasted just over a month. 33 days of fear and violence, overlooked all the time by new skies of blood red. The rioting became uncontrollable, spreading like wildfire and fueled by false guides. The entire planet was placed under martial law, and every available member of the Astra Militarium was pressed into immediate action. Regiments still being raised for deployment, Cardio and Armageddon, were recalled from their orbital musters and sent into the whirlwind of the hive zones, forced to open fire not on Xenos or heretics, but on their own kind, storming supply bunkers or ransacking cathedrals for gold. 33 days seems such a short time, set against the span of years before and after, but in truth it felt like an eternity. I barely slept. during the whole period, and only staved off mania due to heavy self-dosing of narcotics. The air fizzed with fevered energies, making true rest or contemplation impossible. Every glance seemed to disclose fresh terrors in the dark. I would wake from snatched half hours of slumber, crying out, clutching at my sweat-dank sheets. On one occasion I looked into the mirror while shaving, to see a leering Damon face staring back at me, and had to shatter the glass to get rid of it. Another night I nearly choked on my own nightmares of being skinned alive by laughing butchers in winged helms, and it took Jack to calm me down and stop me chewing my own tongue off. Yes, Jack was sharing my bed. Do not judge us harshly for that. We had not given in to base lust, but had been thrown together by something like need. Back then, she was the only one I could trust completely, and I think she felt the same way about me. If she had not been there, I do not know what would have happened to me. I clung to her, and she clung to me. We were like neophytes again in the face of the maelstrom, stripped of our offices and pretensions, and reduced to what we had always really been. I shall be able to shake free of it, I told her. Lying in the dark, the worst will pass, she said, not sounding at all certain. I chewed my lip nervously. The shadows in my chamber seemed unnaturally black, as if they would suddenly slither up on the bed and strangle me. I was so sure, I said. Sure of what? The council. I was so sure the Legio would be remade, and I would be its architect. And then all would be well. There was never a guarantee. But I remembered what Valorous had told me. He had thought I was the conduit for his will. I had come to believe it too. What else could explain my extraordinary certainty emerging from a life in which certainty had always been absent? Such hubris. Perhaps he no longer lives, I murmured. Hush! Jack chided urgently, sitting up and pressing a finger to my mouth. Do not even think about it.